Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Boost Your English podcast. This is our second episode, and we're thrilled you're here.
Last time, we talked about a big challenge for learners. Why can I understand English but can't speak it? The response was incredible.
It was a skill that's very connected to this is the ability to stop translating in your head when you speak. Translating slows you down, but thinking directly in English makes speaking much faster.
That's why today's episode is all about breaking that habit. Our topic is how to stop translating and train your brain to think in English.
Imagine speaking English naturally without second-guessing yourself or pausing to translate. Sounds great, right?
It really does. And we're here to help you make that a reality with easy tips and exercises you can use today.
And don't forget, we have a free resource for this episode. It's a simple guide with exercises to help you start thinking in English.
You can download it for free right now. Just check the link in the description or on our website.
So, let's dive in and get started on this exciting journey to thinking directly in English.
Stay with us. You're going to love this episode. Today, we're talking about something that can really change the way you speak English. It's a common challenge for learners: how to stop translating in your head.
Right, Mia. A lot of us have this habit of translating everything from our native language into English before we speak. This can slow us down a lot.
Exactly. When we translate, our brain needs to pause, think in our native language, and then translate it. That's a delay. And we need to speed that up if we want to sound more natural.
And the key is to stop that pause. If you can think directly in English, your speech will flow faster and it'll sound more natural. It's like a shortcut in your brain.
So, how do we stop translating? Well, it's all about training your brain to think in English, right from the start. This doesn't happen overnight, but with some practice, it's totally possible.
Exactly. The goal is to make English your first language when you think. And we're going to share some strategies that can help you do just that.
Yeah, if you can make that shift in your thinking, everything else will become easier. Your speaking, understanding, and even vocabulary will improve.
We've got 3 powerful strategies for you today that will help you stop translating. You'll start thinking in English faster, and speaking will become more natural.
The first strategy is think in images, not words. When you learn a new word, don't just translate it. Instead, try to connect it with a visual image. This makes the word stick in your mind faster.
That's a great one. For example, let's say you're learning the word dog. Instead of thinking perro in Spanish, just imagine a dog running in the park, wagging its tail.
Exactly. So when you hear dog, your brain doesn't need to translate it. It goes straight to the image of a dog. This makes recalling the word quicker, and it helps you feel the meaning, not just understand it.
Another example could be the word happy. Don't translate it into your language. Instead, picture a smiling face, maybe your own, when you're feeling happy. The word happy should automatically trigger that image for you.
Yes, that's it. The more you do this, the more automatic it becomes. Your brain starts connecting words directly with their meanings. This will speed up your thinking and speaking because you don't need to pause for translation anymore.
And don't forget, this works for every word. It's a great exercise, especially with vocabulary you use often. Imagine a place, a person, or an object related to the word. This will help create a stronger mental connection.
So try this the next time you learn a new word. Picture it, feel it, and connect it to your surroundings. With time, your brain will start thinking in English faster and without the need for translation.
Let's move on to the second strategy, which is talking to yourself in English. This might sound strange, but it's actually a really effective way to practice thinking in English.
It really works. The more you speak to yourself in English, the more natural it becomes. You can describe what you're doing in the moment, like, I'm making breakfast or I'm reading my book. This helps you think in English instead of translating in your head.
Exactly. And it doesn't have to be perfect English. Just start simple and talk about your day. For example, I'm walking to the store. It's sunny today. I need milk. It's all about practicing the flow.
Yes, the key is to keep it going. The more you do it, the more your brain will start to switch to English automatically. You don't have to speak out loud all the time, but even thinking in English works.
And if you're in a situation where talking out loud isn't possible, try to have a conversation with yourself in your head. Think in English as if you were explaining something to a friend. It's like a mini practice session.
You'll notice that over time, you start thinking in English when you're not even trying. Your brain will get used to it, and you'll feel more comfortable using English in everyday situations.
It's a simple trick, but it works wonders for building your English fluency. It's like doing a mental workout. The more you practice, the stronger your English muscles become.
So give it a try. Start by talking to yourself about what you're doing, or even describing your thoughts. This is a fun way to train your brain to think in English.
The third strategy is one of my favorites. Listen and repeat. This is a great method because it helps your brain get used to how English sounds and feels.
Right. The idea here is to listen to native speakers, whether it's in a podcast, a movie, or even a song, and immediately repeat what they say. This trains your brain to process English directly, without translation.
Exactly. Let's say you're watching a movie and you hear the phrase, "I can't wait to see you." Don't just hear it. Pause and repeat it aloud. The more you do this, the faster you'll start thinking in English.
It's all about repetition. You're training your brain to recognize how words fit together, the rhythm, and even the emotions behind them. The next time you're in a conversation, your brain will automatically use those phrases.
Another benefit of this strategy is that it helps with pronunciation and intonation. When you repeat after a native speaker, you're practicing how to say things correctly.
That's true. The more you repeat, the more confident you'll become in speaking, and soon, it will feel natural. It's like learning a song by heart. You don't need to think about the words. They just come out.
And you don't need to wait for a perfect moment to do this. Listen to English while doing something else, like cooking or cleaning, and repeat the phrases in your head or out loud.
Absolutely. So listen to English content as much as possible and repeat. It's an easy and effective way to train your brain to think directly in English.
Now, let's move on to some keywords to boost your vocabulary. These words will help you sound more natural and fluent in English, and you can start using them right away.
The first word is lively. It means full of energy, vibrant, or full of life. Example, the party was so lively. Everyone was dancing and having a great time.
Next, we have eager. It means very excited or enthusiastic to do something. Example, she was eager to start her new job and meet the team.
The third word is accomplish. It means to finish something successfully. Example, I accomplished my goal of learning 50 new words this week.
The fourth word is reluctant. It means not wanting to do something. Example, he was reluctant to speak in front of the class because he was nervous.
The fifth word is spontaneous. It means something done without planning or thinking about it in advance. Example, we took a spontaneous trip to the beach last weekend. It was amazing.
And finally, curious. It means wanting to learn or know something. Example, she's very curious about how airplanes work.
These words will help you sound more natural in conversations, and once you start thinking in English, you'll use them more easily.
Before we wrap up, we want to hear from you. Which strategy are you going to try first to stop translating and think in English?
And which of the new words will you use in your next conversation? Tell us in the comments section, and also tell us what you would like to hear in an upcoming episode. Now that we've explored strategies to stop translating and start thinking in English, let's wrap it up with 3 key points. These will reinforce everything we've talked about today.
Right, here's number 1. Your brain works faster when you stop translating. Translating in your head slows you down because your brain is doing double the work.
Exactly. Instead of thinking in your native language first, aim to connect directly to English. This clears the mental traffic jam and helps your words flow naturally.
And when English becomes your first thought, everything feels smoother and faster. Plus, less thinking means fewer pauses, making you sound more confident.
Speaking of confidence, number 2 is this: thinking in English builds your confidence. Little victories like ordering food or asking for directions without hesitating can make a big difference.
That's so true. And when you trust yourself more, you're less likely to overthink or worry about mistakes. Remember, fluency is about communication, not perfection.
Absolutely. And that brings us to number 3. Consistency is the secret to success. Small, daily actions like narrating your day or labeling things in English make all the difference.
It's like going to the gym for your brain. Practice a little every day, and over time, you'll see real progress.
So to recap, 1. Your brain works faster when you stop translating. 2. Thinking in English builds your confidence. 3. Consistency is the secret to success.
Keep these 3 things in mind and you'll see real progress in how you think and speak in English.
And remember, every step you take brings you closer to fluency. So stay consistent, trust yourself, and enjoy the process.
We're here to help you every step of the way.
We've covered a lot today, Jake. From strategies to stop translating to practical tips for thinking in English, we've shared some powerful tools to help our listeners.
Absolutely. And remember, progress takes time, but even just a few minutes of practice every day can make a huge difference in your English skills.
Speaking of daily practice, don't forget, we release a new episode every day. Each one is designed to help you improve step by step.
That's right. And if you found today's tips helpful, make sure to subscribe to our podcast, give us a like, and share it with your friends who are also learning English.
Oh, and don't forget to check out the free resource we've created for this episode. It's packed with examples and exercises to help you practice everything we've discussed.
It's super easy to download, and it's a great way to reinforce what you've learned. The link is in the description, so be sure to grab it after this episode.
And don't miss tomorrow's episode.
It's going to be a great one, so be sure to tune in. Thanks for joining us today, and we'll see you in the next episode.
Bye for now, and keep boosting your English one step at a time.